Hello, and welcome to Eye on Newport. I'm Jessica Clary.
And I'm Josina. Here are today's top stories.
In international news, Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko said he believes the conflict with Russia-backed separatists in the east is deflating, and that peace efforts will be successful. In a news conference on Thursday outlining his plans for Ukraine over the next decade, Poroshenko said, quote, "I have no doubt whatsoever that my peace plan will work and that the main and most dangerous part of the war is behind." Poroshenko's proposals are a foundation for agreements this month aimed at ending the conflict that has killed at least 3,500 people since mid-April. In recent days, reports of the ceasefire violations have decreased notably.
In national news, U.S. officials have told Americans in Turkey to be vigilant against possible terror attacks in retaliation for U.S. airstrikes against the Islamic State group. Meanwhile, Turkey says it is joining NATO allies and fellow Sunni Muslim nations in the coalition to destroy Islamic State militants. The U.S. says it is still waiting to hear what exactly Turkey will contribute, as Turkey has long resisted being used as a launching pad for foreign troops to attack neighboring nations.
In local news, currently, students living on campus have the option of either unlimited meal swipes at the dining hall, 14 swipes a week plus $250 dining dollars, or 5 swipes a week plus $1,076 dining dollars. Eye on Newport spoke with Campus Auxiliary Services about the possibility of introducing the new meal plan options to students. Let's take a look.
What do you think about the flexibility of the meal plan?
I think it's not so flexible. I think I have the 5-swipe meal plan, and I just feel like there should be more money, because if you do go over like one day, it can really not be so good.
I mean, for my first year, it's kind of okay, but I'd prefer if I had more money for like Oscars and stuff like that, because the food is better.
Hasbrook has improved its performance every year of the 11 years that I've been there. I eat there every day, and so the food quality there is quite good. I think what people object to and get upset about is being forced to do anything. They're upset about being forced to buy a meal plan to begin with, and then they're upset about being forced to eat in one location. So I think regardless of what we do at Hasbrook, there will always be those complaints.
So what do you think about the administration's argument that in order to have a community and to keep every student satisfied at a low price, we have to have the meal plan with Hasbrook mandatory?
I understand the argument, and I do get the idea of the meal plans, so I guess in a way I agree, but I do understand the other side of the argument too.
You just can't get a better deal on food than Hasbrook. It's easier to prepare and present and have out than individually making food in a retail basis. It's just less expensive to do.
So what do you think the administration should do about this?
I think maybe just hear the students out a little more. I don't know how much they use their students' input.
We have to kind of find a happy medium where there's a meal plan that says, okay, if you're a little bit frugal, you can use a Hasbrook maybe a few times a week, and then you can also blend in nice options like Cafe Spice or sushi, whatever.
Hasbrook's a good filler, it may not be the best food, but it's free-ish, so, and we get to come often and eat as much as we want.
Hundreds of thousands of people attended this Sunday's People Climate March, including Campus Sustainability Coordinator Lisa Mitten and SUNY Newport's Professor Michael Bombs. Eye on Newport sat down with the two to discuss how they feel the march went. Let's take a look.
The march was very, very large. The estimates for the number of people who were in attendance is about 400,000 people. So just the size of the march was incredible. I've never participated in anything like that before.
I thought it was great, but I think nothing's going to change. It's to me it feels as if we were allowed to march to express our anger and so forth. March, walk, get the energy out, and then go home. And I don't think anything is going to be accomplished.
President Obama addressed the General Assembly on Tuesday afternoon, calling on all countries to join the United States, not next year or the year after, but right now, to dramatically cut carbon emissions.
the fact that we had to wait hours to start walking was a testament to how large the march was and how broad the support is for climate change action. The beginning of the march started off with Indigenous people and people of color who are on the front lines of climate change, who have the most to lose and who have contributed the least and have the most to lose, such as low-lying countries.
It's got to be a worldwide thing because if we look at, for example, where we're seeing right now the climate crisis happening, it's happening in islands in the Pacific that are not producing carbon footprints, and yet their sea levels are rising. So it can't be just like one part, one state doing it. It can't be just one country doing it. It's got to be all the countries doing it.
The largest demonstration of its kind, the People's Climate March, was just one of some 2,700 events around the globe that day, all delivering the same message to world leaders, many of whom are meeting this week at the United Nations.
You have to get control of the corporations. You know, we're talking about us doing all these kind of acts to prevent and lower our carbon footprint, but ours is very small. The corporations are huge footprints. Like if we make a dent in that, which we don't, but they make a tremendously big dent, and somehow they're not listening.
One way to start thinking about how an individual and a student can have an impact on reducing the effects of climate change is to just examine the individual actions that one does that is related to the emission of carbon dioxide and other fossil fuels. And we can do a lot as an individual institution. There's a tremendous amount we can do, but there is a lot more that we can do with the right laws and policies and funding in place that our elected leaders can provide in order to move forward.
That's all for this week. I'm Jessica Clary.
And I'm Josina Campbell. Thank you for tuning in.